There are a lot of people out there that still haven't bought their first home, but there's also still a lot of people that want to buy their first home. So let's talk about the tips that I'd recommend to help you get into your first home successfully to where you feel like you got the best deal. Tip number 1, make sure you start saving for a down payment. Now, a lot of people are aware of this, but just never get around to doing it. So the first thing you need to make sure that you do is have a sufficient down payment. And a lot of loans will want 20% down, but if you're buying your first home, it could be easy to get approved for an FHA loan where you only may need 3.5% down minimum. Make sure that you save up your money and change your lifestyle now so that way you can afford to live in the house that you really want for your first home. A lot of times people aren't willing to adjust their lifestyle and they're shocked to find out how much money they need down for a home that really doesn't fit their standards. It could also be a really good idea to set up a separate savings account specifically for this. Make sure that you have the money saved up to get you into the home that you want. The second step is to get pre-approved for a mortgage. 95, maybe 99% of people are actually going to get a mortgage for their home, meaning they're not going to buy it outright in cash. This requires you to go through a lender, and this lender is going to need to run your credit and make sure you have the proper debt to income ratio, meaning that you can afford the monthly payment each month, even if something bad were to happen. So before you start looking around, going on Zillow, searching for homes, make sure you know exactly how much you'll be pre-approved for. So this way you know what range of price you need to shop within. It's also crucial to know how much you're approved for so when it comes time to negotiate, you're set up for success. Now, tip number 3 is looking for homes within your budget. When I first was shopping for a home, I was looking beyond my budget, looking at homes that I felt I deserved to live in. And unfortunately, that's just not how housing works. You need to know exactly what your budget is so you can shop within that budget. Now, if you're not picky, you might find something way less than what you're actually pre-approved for, like I did. However, a lot of us have very high expectations that may not really meet reality. And while it can be very tempting to stretch your budget out and find a really nice house, most of the time, if it's your first house and you're looking at it from an investment standpoint, it would actually be wisest to not go for the best home that you can find. First-time home buyers actually only live in their first home for an average of 5 years before they're ready to move on to the next one and maybe upgrade. So when it comes time to look for a home, don't be overly picky, don't stretch your budget, make sure it's something that's manageable because your first home is just a stepping stone to the next one. Number 4, research the neighborhood and understand where you're going. The number one thing that you hear in real estate is location, location, location. This is important because you need to make sure that the area you're in is not only safe, but also an area that you could see yourself living in for the next 5 to 10 to 30 years. It's a good idea to do a little bit of homework in the neighborhood that you're interested in. An example of this is drive down the neighborhood, drive around multiple times throughout the day. Maybe on a Monday, you drive around in the afternoon, and then maybe on a Friday, you go late in the evening. But this gives you an idea of what traffic will be like, whether or not there's school zones. Also gives you an idea of how busy the roads could be where you're gonna live. There's other factors to consider too, like how close you are to schools, how close you are to major landmarks in your city, as well as local amenities and even storefronts, which means that that asset in which you purchase could actually increase in value over time because of the surrounding area. Tip number 5, don't be afraid to negotiate. When it comes time to look at a home and figure out where you wanna live, especially in this market, we're seeing prices decline pretty rapidly, which means that for you, the buyer, you're in an opportunity where you could actually negotiate a good deal. If you see a home that's been on the market for more than 30 days, chances are those sellers are not as optimistic as they were when they first listed the home, which means you have an opportunity to come in at a lower number that might make sense for them. Now, don't kid yourself. You don't want to lowball and go 100,000 under asking, but some homes that are on the market, you might have a seller who's desperate enough and willing to forego 10, 20K, which could set you up for success. So when searching for homes, don't be afraid to stretch the maximum dollar amount only with the intent on possibly negotiating that price. Now, tip number 6, call it biased, but definitely find a good real estate agent that you can work with. I'm a real estate agent in Southwest Florida. but it's important to have a good agent by your side. Real estate agents can set you up to view specific properties and are going to be a lot more reliable than just going on to Zillow and hitting, let's look at this home. Having a good agent means they can help you navigate the process and find the best deal that makes sense for you. You don't want to get stuck finding some random Joe Schmo real estate agent using the Zillow or Realtor app and not getting an opportunity to actually qualify the agent that's representing you. And of course, if you are in the Southwest Florida area looking for a reliable agent, or even anywhere in Florida, let me know and I can make some referrals for you. Now, the seventh tip and the most important tip is take your time. There really is no rush to go out and buy real estate. To be honest with you, there's always going to be homes needing to be sold, and there's always going to be people like yourself that need to buy a home. The real estate market is a continuous market that goes through different cycles. Buying a home is also one of the biggest financial decisions you'll ever make in your life. So it's very important that you take your time and you calculate all of the potential risk and rewards when looking at properties. So do your research, find a good realtor, and make sure that the home you're ending up with is a home you'll be happy with for the next few years. So if you're someone who's already bought a home, leave a comment down below about what tips you feel I may have missed. If you're someone that hasn't bought a home yet but is looking into doing that, leave a comment down below about what exactly the struggles are that you're running into. Real estate is usually the #1 wealth building tool that we have, so it's important that everyone, young or old, gets an opportunity to partake. If you found the tips in this video helpful, please drop a like, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one.